Greetings, students, and welcome to another fun-filled day here at Horror in the Halls. What's up, kids, and welcome to Horror in the Halls. I'm Bob, aka Mr. Holland.
And I'm Jenny, aka Mrs. Hill.
And we're just two high school teachers educating the masses on the spooky stuff we love. And this July, we're going to summer camp. Join us as we camp until we die in 1988 Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers. It's a lot of camp.
Camp.
Campity camp.
I would have never went to camp. They would
I did
never
go
found
to a
me
camp one time.
Ooh.
In like middle school, I think. I went to a camp. I think it was, what was it called? Camp Earl Wallace, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to camp. I was like, yeah, dude, I'm so cool. Look at me in camp. Campity camp.
I always liked the idea of camp, and I think my mom knew that I was not cut out for the camping life, so she never sent me. And now I'm like, that makes sense. I would have got there and been miserable.
It was fun. I had a good time. I remember it was like an outdoorsy kind of camp. So there was like archery and teaching you how to drive a boat, swimming, stuff like that. It was a good time. I enjoyed it. Nothing like, Camp Rolling Hills. There was no fornicating and murder because I was like in 6th grade. But still, there were like shotgunning sodas and stuff. I remember that. There was a ping pong table with like this crazy nail at the bottom of it. And everybody was like seeing if they could shotgun Cokes. I win. I was a champ. I was a shotgun champ in 6th grade. Helped me a lot in my lucrative college years. Look at me, y'all. All right, so let's get into this fun, ridiculously campy movie. So, Sleepaway Camp 2, full title, Unhappy Campers, released 1988, August 26th to be exact, so it's a pretty good time to come out. Runtime of 80 minutes exactly, which is hilarious because that's like the required time to be considered a movie. Essentially, they had to add a section of this film just to make 80 minutes.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah, like that whole dream sequence that she has that is like 5 minutes long, 6 minutes long, was like all B-reel that they threw in there just to make this movie long enough. It's ridiculous. Directed by Michael A. Simpson. He's the director and the producer. He hasn't really done a whole lot. He directed Funland right before this, and then he did Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3 because they were filmed back to back. It's credited as being written by Fritz Gordon, but really that is just a pseudonym for the producer Michael Hitchcock. He's also the other male counselor in this movie. He did a couple other things, but I don't know why he didn't get right as himself. I don't understand that. Of course, based on characters from the first one by Robert Hiltzik. Cinematography is Bill Mills. His noble works, I just typed in meh because he's done almost nothing. And you can tell from this movie, it is terrible. Terrible.
Yeah.
Special effects, Dick Cross. These weren't bad. The kills look pretty solid on some respects. The blood looks good. So it wasn't like cheesy, which I'll give him props on that. It's got a 55 on Rotten Tomatoes and a 46 audience score, which is pretty weird. The critics thought this was better than the horror fans did. 2.8 on Letterboxd.
That is shocking, actually.
I know, right? I know. I was like, okay, Rotten Tomatoes, I see you. I mean, it makes sense, I guess. It is. Every sequel after took a totally different direction. And if you're a fan of the first one, a lot of people don't like this one, or they kind of critique it because it's not the same. I think it's great.
It's the opposite of the first one. I was like, oh 100%. My gosh, this one took a hard left turn. Like, it was like, we're going this direction.
I'm not even sure if it was a left turn. It was like a full donut, and they went some random direction.
I was like, This is nothing like the first one. It was so funny.
Mm-hmm. The only thing similar was a lady killing people at camp. That's it.
Right.
That's it. So, of course, the plot. This is a good one. Angela Baker escapes from a mental hospital and surfaces at a summer camp as a counselor who lectures her teenage charges on proper moral behavior. Those
Yeah.
teens who break her strict rules, from the camp chatterbox or a sex-obsessed girl to the boys or who are peeping toms, are murdered by the imposter in various gruesome ways. As more campers go missing, intrepid counselor Molly begins to piece together the truth. And now that I'm reading this, like I copied this from, I don't even remember where now. Molly was not a counselor. She was a camper. They had their plot wrong.
Okay, so probably yeah, that's funny. But like why did all the campers look like counselors? I kept saying, why all these kids look old? Like
I know, it's a weird camp. And half of them,
oh.
surprisingly, were not actually adults, but the majority of them were, which is kind of funny. There's so many fun facts about this movie. It's ridiculous. So let's jump to the cast real quick, and then we'll get on to the good stuff. So, of course, we got Pamela Springsteen as Angela Johnson / Angela Baker. In case you didn't recognize that name, she is the boss's sister, which is hilarious because no one on set knew that. She's been in like
That's
almost nothing.
crazy.
I guess she's like, whatever, my brother's Bruce Springsteen. I do what I want. We got Renee Estevez as Molly. She's the sort of final girl for this film. She is like related to Emilio and Charlie Sheen. You know, her dad is Martin Sheen, which is pretty awesome. We got Tony Higgins as Sean. Valerie Hartman as Allie. Brian Patrick Clark as TC. Walter Gotel as Uncle John. Susan Marie Snyder as Mare. Terry Hobbs as Rob. Kendall Dean as Demi. Julie Murphy as Leah. We got Carol Chambers as Brooke Schote. Amy Fields as Jody Schote, where they call them the Shit Sisters. Benji Willihote as Anthony. We got Walter Franks III as Judd. Justin Noel as Charlie. Heather Binion as Phoebe. Jason Elric as Emilio. Carol Martin Vines as Diane. And then there's some random people of a girl sent home and the lady in the truck. So Trisha Grant and Jill Jane Clements round out the cast. If any of those names sound kind of weird and familiar, it's because they're all named after the Brat Pack, which is hilarious.
Oh,
And
I
they
didn't even
tried
notice that.
not hard. Uncle John is John Hughes. TC's initials are for Tom Cruise. You got Ali Larder. You got Molly Ringwald, Demi Moore, Brooke Shields. You got Judd Nelson, Charlie Sheen, Emilio Estevez, Diane Keaton. It's all these like Phoebe Cates, all these big actors from the 80s that were like teenagers that the person liked.
Mhm.
They're all from John Hughes films, essentially. That's all the
Yeah.
characters in this. Which is another fun fact is that Renee Estevez, 2 of these characters are named after her brothers, which is pretty funny.
It is funny.
Like they were peeping Toms, and they're named after her brothers.
It's funny. Peeping Toms.
Yeah, they're the ones taking photos of the
Oh,
windows.
I know. It's so funny.
So yeah, this movie is wow. This movie
It's
is something
different.
else. It's something else. It it's great. It's so bad, it's good. It really is. You know, it's one of those movies that you're just like, most horror sequels are terrible. It's like they go. It's either really when you look at horror movies, there's one or two things. Either the sequel is a continuation of the first one and it's not too bad. Sometimes, rarely, the movie does well and they get a bigger budget, so you can even see some increase in like effects and things like that for the second one, better story. Or they go like this one and it's just completely ridiculous. They're just trying to cash in on the name Sleepaway Camp, which is what they were doing, and went wild with it. Yeah, it was so ridiculous that Felissa Rose was asked to return, and she was like, she read the thing and was like, yeah, I don't like this comedic take. I'm going to college. And then decided she wasn't going to do it. So they couldn't even get the main, actress after that because of the movie. And
I
it's just
mean,
kind of ridiculous.
I think um the main character did a good job anyway. I mean,
Oh, she was awesome.
It's funny.
I thought it was
I laughed.
good.
I laughed a lot through this whole movie. So, and I have a titty tally for this one, and it was
Oh, I bet.
mainly one person, but there was a couple in there. But I said I had a titty tally of 6, but one of them was a wet T-shirt, and I said that counts. So,
Well, yeah, I mean, that was a real wet
I mean,
T-shirt.
I'm not right. I was like, you can see all your boobs with that.
And then she tried to like flex when she came out of the water. Allie was about that life.
All right, heifer.
I know, right?
I was like, man, she should. I thoroughly agreed with Angela. She should have died first. I was like, damn it. Oh, that was
Yeah,
good.
she sucked.
The beginning, though, I kept trying to remember which Friday the 13th it reminded me of. I couldn't remember if it was the second or the third one. I want to say it was the second one because remember when they're like sitting outside and they're having the little bonfire and they're telling scary stories, but they're telling the story of the camp.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I was totally the same type of setup. So I was like, that's pretty cool that they did that. So they did like a couple things in it that I was like, this is so ridiculous. But it worked because it made the movie funny to me. So
Yeah,
I
it was
think it's
good.
the second Friday 13th though, because
I believe
I
it is
think it
too,
was.
because they're talking
I
about the
think,
first camp.
yeah. So, anyways, oh, that was funny.
Oh, this movie's just ridiculous. I know. That's what me and Aaron were laughing. Like, yeah, there's going to be a titty tally, but it's pretty much all Allie.
Yeah, most of it. Molly or Mayor is in there a bit.
Yeah, Mayor's in there twice, I think, right? If you
Yeah.
don't include the photos. Which one of those little fun facts is the boys are always shown outside the windows taking photos, and all those photos were just taken straight in front of the people.
That's funny.
If you pay attention, they're like, oh, look at my boobs. Like, those photos are not taken from a weird window.
No. Not a Polaroid either. It's like that would have been so grainy.
I know, right? Through the screen.
Oh, I love it.
There's so many things in this one that are like errors. Like apparently the camera they use wouldn't have looked like those Polaroids, and there's all kinds of things that just don't make any sense. Like obvious errors, people breathing, things like that, different death scenes, different times. The bodies are arranged the wrong way, like with different deaths that would actually happen to them. There's bodies in there that we've not even seen killed on screen at the end. So there's a lot of things in this movie that are just kind of ridiculous. But at the end of the day, it's really fun.
It is fun. It's like one of those movies where it's like you don't know what to watch, and if you're just looking for like something just to have fun with, it's one of those movies.
Yeah, it's a good summer, like, just watch. I mean, the first one is like the quintessential summer camp movie other than Friday the 13th, right?
Mm-hmm.
This one is not that. But if you're just bored
It's not.
and you want to watch a movie, this is a good one. And it was funny because there's so many scenes in this movie that are just ridiculous. There's some great one-liners.
Oh my gosh, yes. I have so many listed.
Some of the weird. There's a funny thing. Apparently, like I was saying earlier, not half this cast, but a big number of this cast were actually technically underage. They were 16 or 17. Like the characters of Charlie and Amelia were 16 and 17. I believe Rob, the character of Rob, the one Allie has sex with, was actually 17. He was not 18 yet. And there was like in an interview, Michael A. Simpson basically had said that the Georgia Department of Labor had reps on set the entire time to make sure those actors were not involved in anything that was any nude scenes or had any dialogue with profanity at all.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so apparently, like, in that scene where she comes out of the water, where Emilio says, or Charlie says, "Hey, Emilio, party hats at 2:00." He was supposed to say, check out those nips," but the Department of Labor was like, "He can't say that. He's a minor," which is ridiculous.
Whatever. I know, right? Like he probably thought, "Oh yeah, that's exactly what I would have said."
Yeah, party hats 2:00. And like the scene where Allie and Rob are having sex in the forest, he was actually 17, so that's a body double. He didn't
Oh
get to
my, that's
lay
so
under
funny.
her as she just looked sad, like she was in pain the whole time. Like whoever was in charge of the sexual scenes in this movie, I think they were a virgin because these poor people look like they were dying.
Like the bathroom scene, and she's being like dragged across the floor.
Yeah,
All you see is her legs. I'm like, what is
I
happening?
thought she was getting murdered. I'm like, why is she dragging her body? And then like when you said Johnny said he was giving her raspberries, I thought I was gonna die.
Because I go, what the hell is happening right now? And
Yeah,
he goes, he's giving her raspberries on her tummy, I guess. I was like,
yeah.
oh my god, it's
So
so
if you guys have
funny.
not seen this movie, there's a scene in the bathroom where this couple's like I guess making out, I don't know. And the camera guy, what was his name? Bill Mills here. He loves these low, like knee down shots, and they're terrible. But in this one, they're like trying to get to a stall, I guess. And
Yeah,
he's literally dragging her like a dead body. Her legs are together and he's just dragging her. And then it cuts to this scene where I guess he's supposed to be like going down on her, I guess. And she's making this horrible face and he's about at her waistline, I guess, belly button
yeah.
area.
He's covering up her belly button, and I was
Yeah.
like, he ain't down far enough. What's happening? I don't
No.
understand. And he was like, he's giving her raspberries.
And she's like weirdly moaning and he's like grumbling like Cookie Monster. It is weird as hell and a
It is
terrible,
really weird.
terrible idea. It's like you've never seen this before ever. 1988. Come on, man. What are you doing?
Oh my gosh, it was so funny.
I just the whole time I'm like, what the hell is going on?
It was really ridiculous. And then she was like really frustrated after that because Angela came and knocked on the door to the bathroom.
Yeah. Why is this locked? I have
Oh
cramps.
yeah, I don't want anybody. There's some stranger to come in. Like whatever or
Mm,
whatever. She says I'm about to kill her or something. And I was like, I mean, she's not wrong.
yeah, it's true. She was coming to kill you, probably.
She really was.
Yeah. You were coming to get murdered, but whatever. Yeah, it was ridiculous. God, so ridiculous. There's so many ridiculous things in this movie. I will say though, the deaths are not terrible. They look pretty good. So let's jump into the roll call of death real quick. Because I enjoyed some of the deaths, especially the funny ones in the middle. So we start off the bat.
Yeah, I
Phoebe's
know, right?
on the story, talking smack, and then she bashes her in the brain with a log. A big log, actually. And so she gets hit in the head. It says branch, and then she cuts her damn tongue out.
Branch. Uh, Oh my gosh, I know.
And then just lays it on her. She's like, ha ha ha. I'm like, you okay? Crazy. And then the next one, this is another underage person. Both the Shoat sisters, who are like portrayed as like the drunken high girls the whole time, she burns them to death, which is crazy. But in the scene where the one is making out with the boy and the other one's asleep, the one that's asleep is underage. So she had to be like,
Yeah.
pretend to be asleep. I'm like, you're laying right there. This is weird. That's why she couldn't also be making out with another boy at the camp because, these are the loose sisters everyone wants to date in high school. They've had some friends. They seemed a lot worse than Allie, but they died early. But yeah, that's a crazy way to die. Like the one that wakes up by getting alcohol poured on her and her sister is already like a skeleton.
I know, right? Like a really thoroughly charred
Yeah.
skeleton.
Like how long have you been asleep, doc? Like that's a long time. Like the one was a minor was like, I was passed out for days. For days. My sister's a charred skeleton. Ridiculous. And then Mayor gets killed next with a power drill, which is great because that scene is just so dumb when she's like, we're going to camp out tonight. Just apologize. And Mayor's like, no, I'd rather die. Then she's like, okay. It's like,
Which that's the quote I wrote down because I thought it was hilarious. Because she was like, "What are you looking for? A gun?" And she said, "No, a drill." Like all happy. I
yeah,
was like, "Oh my god, you're crazy."
I know. And she threw that paddle bit. Oh, I would have just bored holes in her face. Crazy.
I know.
Then this is my favorite one though, because the scenes are ridiculous. So I'm gonna get a little preface on this before I get into it, because at the very on this box, there is a random lady with a backpack that has a Jason mask, a Freddy glove, and a chainsaw sticking out of it. And you're like, what the hell? And then they use like the Walmart novelty crappy white Jason mask, a random glove with claws in it, and like a hedge trimming chainsaw. Little bitty thing. So of course this is 1988. Those movies were popular. There's a scene where the kids are trying to scare Angela dressed as Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees. Pretty solid,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
The Freddy was funny. He has, I guess, toilet paper stuck to his face or something. He looks all burnt up. He made a Freddy glove with actual knives in it. The kid's got a machete, but he keeps talking like, you're going to break my machete. So I don't think his is real, maybe. I'm not sure. So those are the next two deaths. They're great. Like, apparently the kid is like the only person to ever cut himself with a Freddy glove because she slits his throat with his own glove, which is pretty funny. But just one slit when there's like 4 blades.
I know, right?
And then we get Leatherface because she cuts that kid's face off and wears it to kill his buddy in the Jason mask, which is great. It's like my favorite.
Oh no.
Because like he basically cuts him in the leg and then cuts his whole face off. Like just cuts him up with a chainsaw. It's great. But this is where you get like 3 major slashers in one movie. Like until Scream, I don't think there's any other movie that like kind of like openly showed or talked about other slashers in the film.
Yeah, it was all in one scene.
Yeah, all in one. Like I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Yeah, it's like 2 minutes of footage, and it's 3 big slashers all at one time. And I think it's funny. I'm not sure if it was on purpose. Her Leatherface to me looks a little bit like Michael Myers too. Like they're all just right there. Like that face she has on looks like they cut a Michael Myers mask out and put on her face and put blood on it, which would be funny if they did that. I couldn't find if that was a thing or not, but it looks like it.
I was going to say I'd have to go back and see that scene to know, because I didn't pay attention to that. I was just more like that scene, that whole thing was like funny to me. I was like, oh my gosh.
They're all planning it, and like first off, you're at camp, and these counselors were not very good. But this kid is legitimately at a table taping knives to a glove, and everybody's just like, "Oh, that's fine, arts and crafts." Where are the adults at this camp?
They were all standing there with their little box of like random crap so they could feel it. Oh, there's teenage brains in there.
That scene that made no sense, and they're just shoving kids through a door. I'm like, what the fudge are y'all doing? Then this kid's like,
so stupid.
Let me tape all these kitchen knives to this freaking glove, like every other kid in the 80s.
Oh gosh,
ridiculous.
Okay.
They get murdered with their own weapons, essentially. Oh man. Then we cut to Allie finally getting hers.
Right.
She finally hunts her down. She's being all sassy. Her death scene is ridiculous because she stabs her in the spine and then shoves her in a hole in an outhouse.
Yeah.
Repeatedly,
and she got leeches like stuck to her face and stuff. I was like,
she's like, "What's down there? What's down there? Leeches like you. What else is down there?" She's like, "Dude, like you, like your mouth," and just shoves her in there, and then she like drowns in an outhouse. And the sounds are hilarious. Like the audio engineer on this one, it's like blah 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 blah. It sounds like a fish tank.
It's so stupid.
It's so bad.
But I loved it. I was like, man,
it was great.
Hers is my favorite because it was the most ridiculous and like
just completely
her line.
Nonsense.
Yeah, and her line was like, "I should have killed you first, or you should have died first, or something." I was like, "Yes, she should have. She's the worst."
Yeah, let's see. I got it written down here. It's like, yeah, get in the toilet. She says, "What's down there? Answer me." And she says, "Shit." That's right. One of your favorite words. But you might have to borrow it for a moment. You've been a shitty friend and a shitty camper. What else is down there? And she says, "Piss. You've pissed away your good looks and God-given talent your whole life and turned into nothing but a cynical, dirty mouth waste of flesh." What? And she says, "What else is down there?" Allie says, "I don't know." Angela says, "Well then, I guess you're going to have to climb in and find out." And she says, "Leeches, Allie. For a leech like you, you should have been the first to go."
Yeah, you should have been the first to go. That's right. I loved it.
That whole interaction is ridiculous. And she kills her in, like you said, the craziest way ever. My favorite, though, is every time you see her dead body after this, like the leeches are still on her, like they would just be there forever. Like they're just like, "Hey, we're not actual creatures. We're just
Yeah.
it's
Her whole
ridiculous.
face is full of them. It's
Oh
great.
no, just eyes open and stuff. It's ridiculous. Next death, we have Demi, who gets strangled to death with a guitar string. Demi would have been okay if she wasn't all meddlesome for real. Like she took the
Yeah, I
Scooby Doo
know.
route. I called this person, and I called this person, and I called that person, and
And
Angela's
their
like,
mom said they're still here, and that's weird because they're not, and blah blah blah. And she just kept going, and that was so funny. Angel was like walking around the cabin trying to find stuff to kill her with, and was like, "This ain't gonna work." You could just tell in her brain she was like, "Yep, this not gonna work. This isn't gonna work." Like, oh my gosh,
takes her
she's about to
guitar string
die.
off. She gets garrote essentially because she does not choke her. She cuts into her throat with a guitar string like she's in the mafia, which is crazy. Leah gets stabbed a bunch of times because she's a big tattletale.
Yeah,
Like I looked in this, Leah. Yeah, you're gonna tell.
You're gonna tell. I was like, she's so creepy.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And then it cuts to like the ridiculous scene where she's like making food in her crazy cabin with all the dead bodies that don't match up because she's now caught Molly and Sean.
Yeah.
TC shows up. She's like, have a drink. It's like battery acid. And then she's good, like laughing. Ha, I knew your battery would come in handy for something. What? She's a crazy person. Because before this, she talked about how she was cured.
I
then
know. She was like, I did this and this and this. I'm cured. And they're like, no.
no.
You've posed all of these dead bodies
And
in
you
this
just
cabin and you're just chilling.
melted a dude's face with battery acid.
Right.
Then, of course, she cut Sean's head completely off. One swing, like a champ, just rolls and puts him in the TV, which was, to me, my favorite kill one. She's like, oh, look, Sean's on TV, and his head's just in that broken TV. It was great.
It's terrible. Molly was so upset.
Yes, she was. She loved him. Next death is Matt. You don't see how he's killed, though. She just drags him to the cabin. She's like just dragging his body. Then we get to Charlie and Emilio. They're like taped to a window or tied to a window with a bunch of like stab wounds and other things happen to them. Their eyes are gouged out, I think. You don't really know how she killed them, just murdered. Poor Uncle John has his hand chopped off and is also stabbed to death. Rob is gagged and hanged in the same room. She stabs Diane straight in the gut. The truck driver, who's annoying and won't shut up, she stabs her a bunch of times, a hillbilly lady. And then Molly's, I guess, the final girl. I think in the third one, they comment. She talks about her in the past tense. So I don't know if Molly got away or if she killed her. More than likely, she probably killed her. But that is who dies on screen. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 17, 18 on-screen deaths in this movie, which is pretty crazy. Pretty fun. A lot of ridiculous deaths. We have a decapitation, a drowning in an outhouse, which is so gross.
I know, right? With leeches.
Oh, I know, right? It reminds me of something disgusting my brother was telling me yesterday. So, my buddy Vinny is playing The Gathering of Juggalos this year. He's all excited about it. But Billy was saying he was watching a video, and there were people in the crowd with a water balloon slingshot, and they were shooting water balloons at people filled with porta potty water.
Oh no, absolutely not.
So I told him I would find the biggest stick I could find and beat those people to death. If you shot me with porta potty water, I'm going to jail for sure.
That's freaking gross.
I know, right? And that just reminded me of it. Made me laugh. Yeah, sorry, that was a totally off point, but back to the movie.
I know. I'm like, what?
I know, right? It just you said that right there, and I was like, this is ridiculous. So yeah,
that's really bad.
Great movie if you like cheesy camp. Like, not only is it in a camp, it is one of the campiest films of the '80s. It's just ridiculous.
Complete opposite of the first one.
100%, just complete departure. The only thing similar is there's a girl at summer camp killing people in random ways. There are some funny things that I appreciated. Like there's one, like essentially when you look at when Molly and Sean are trying to kiss and Angela's she's playing Kumbaya, but she keeps stopping. It's because she doesn't have the top guitar string on her guitar, which I think is pretty funny. That's like
And I
kind
did
of like
not notice that. That's funny that you mentioned
yeah,
that to me yesterday. I was like, that's
because
hilarious.
she plays, then when she gets to a certain chord, she stops, and then she goes back, and I'm like, why is she doing that? And I was like, oh, that's hilarious when I looked it up, which is pretty funny. Um, so
I
yeah,
really liked the end with her drive. It's like Molly thinks she's like finally got away and she's like getting out or whatever, and here comes the truck. And it's Angela with the cowboy hat on of the lady she just killed. And she drives up and she's like, howdy, partner. And I was like, and it ends. I was like, what? Like,
yes,
that's so stupid.
I know
And as
you're
soon as
right.
I said, is that really the end? And Johnny's just laughing. I was like, oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. That was good. That was good.
It really was. It really was. I enjoyed it.
I had fun watching it.
So yeah, I laughed. I mean, it's one of those movies you just kind of chuckle at. You can't take serious. It's definitely not a serious
No,
movie.
no,
Um,
it's not.
if anyone thinks otherwise, we watch something totally different. I don't know. There
Oh
is a
no, there's
fun
nothing
part.
serious about that movie.
No, no, no. It's a good movie. It's campy as hell, but it's definitely worth watching. If you love the first one and you're going to be offended if they from a departure, don't watch it. But if you just want to watch something fun, get into it. So on that note, you want to jump into the rubric?
Yep.
All right, let's get it. All right, so the literary element, script, story development, dialogue, and character development.
That's real low in my book, sir.
Oh, dude, 100%. The script is like a 3, probably. The story, there is no story. You're just at a camp, right? It goes
No.
from we're at a camp, that's the whole story, and then everyone just dies randomly.
Yeah.
And they try to
It's
throw in little
not.
weird elements of camp. Like, oh, we're at the
The
table. Oh, we're
the
doing this.
writing was not even it it wasn't really there. So, I was like,
No.
"Eh."
Some of the dialogue is okay. Like, I think it's funny. Some
Oh,
of
yeah,
her,
the
like,
dialogue's
one-liners and
funny.
stuff. But then some of it's like when she's like, "I'll call you," and TC's like, "I don't even have a phone." Like, it's just, like,
Oh, that was
random
funny.
stuff, you
And
know?
she's smiling. I'm like, "You're such an asshole."
Yeah.
Because all she does the whole time is she knows what she's doing, and she's just happy about it. She's
Yeah,
so crazy. I was like,
because
"You're such a
she's
crazy
nuts.
bitch."
She's like, "I had a lot of recommendations from, like, my pastor and my doctor, and I even had an operation." I'm like, "You're nuts."
And she's like, "I'm cured."
Yeah,
That's so good.
in a
I was
room
like,
full
"No,
of
you're
dead
not."
bodies. So what are you thinking? I think the dialogue keeps it being above, like, a 1 to 4.
I mean, I can
Alright?
give it a 5 if that's what you wanna give it.
I mean, we have a range now. We go 1 to 4, 5 to 9. Um, I don't know. I was thinking the dialogue is kind of funny. There is no story development, though. I gotta be honest with that, and the script is pretty terrible.
I think it's a 5 for the dialogue.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I
No,
can't
you're
score it
fine.
high.
No,
I thought it was funny, and I liked the one-liners, but that's really all it is. It's a movie full of one-liners.
I know it's like an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Or like
One-liners
a
and death.
Thanksgiving movie.
Yeah. I'm thinking
It's
about like
just
all of Arnold's big action movies are like one-liners and then someone dies. So it's like kind of what this
right.
movie is: one-liners and then death.
Yeah.
All right, so the effects design element. So visual effects elements that connect to the narrative, set design, overall character design, gore, and practical versus digital effects. Some of the kills are good in this. Like the blood doesn't look cheesy and red. It looked pretty good.
Mhm.
Um, the set is just it's a camp. It's an actual camp. It's like no real set. There was no design there. You're just there.
Yeah.
Character design's boring. They're all wearing the same shirt the entire time. Angela puts a
Yeah, a
hat on her once in a
sweatshirt
while.
in the middle of the summer.
Yeah, some of them. Some
When
are
they
just wearing t-shirts,
Oh, that's right. I was like,
baby
"Why are you
blue
wearing a freaking
t-shirts,
sweatshirt?" Oh,
which
that's
looks
so
good because
hot.
it shows the blood well, I guess. But that's
Yeah.
about it. Yeah, no, I mean, I do like some of the deaths. I think they look good. The decapitation did not look terrible. I really liked the burnt body; looked pretty cool. The scene at the end with the person in the sleeping bag with like no face, like the kid that cut his face off, looked pretty good
Okay,
effects
yeah.
wise. I like that. Um, the burn on TC looked really good too. So I think effects, I could probably give it like a 12. maybe. I
Okay.
thought it was pretty good. Like the effects were great. Um, Set designs. I mean, I guess they technically connect to the narrative. You're at a summer camp. I mean, yeah, you're at a camp. Good job, you found a camp. Character designs were kind of boring. Everybody was just whatever. But it's again, you're at a summer camp, so you really don't have a lot to go with. There are no
Yeah,
digital effects in this. It's all practical, which is I give them props for that. So, like I said, 12, 13. What do you think?
12's good.
I can't go higher though because, like I said, it's just not. It's whatever. Some of them are cheesy, and it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
This one's gonna hurt everybody's feelings. The visual technical element. So the overall aesthetic of the film is pleasing to the eye. Lighting, creative camera shots, and movement and lens selection. This is garbage. Like if I was,
Yeah.
I would watch this and say, "You're fired." The low shots he tried to recreate from other horror movies of the time period. It's like shaky cam low shots. They're horrid and they make no
Yeah,
sense.
they were.
One of them made Erin like feel kind of sick. She was like, "That hurt my stomach a little bit." The way it was moving, like it just gave her like a little bit of nausea because it was a bad shot. And that shit in the bathroom made no sense at all. Like, why are you dragging this woman to the stall like you're about to rape her? Why were her feet together? It just was not good. None of the
No, it
shots are
wasn't.
creative. There's not a single fun. The only shot I thought was funny, and it's really not even a shot because it's just a stationary camera, is the kid's head in the TV. The rest of it is just bleh.
Yeah, it wasn't anything to brag
Yeah,
about.
I mean the ending shot with the truck and the lights, that was pretty cool. Other than that, it's a whole bunch of meh, in my opinion. I'm thinking like I don't know, like a 4, 5, 6, something like that.
That's where I'm at too. I don't think it was anything.
No,
It's kind
it's
like I could
terrible.
have done it.
Oh, storming in Kentucky, y'all.
Did you, did you
Yeah,
hear that? It was loud.
yeah, it registered on the little audio meter. It's storming in Kentucky.
Oh,
Yeah,
dang. Sorry,
yeah.
guys. Starman.
It was a dark and stormy night at Camp Rolling Hills. No, they're yes, I could have shot this on my phone and probably looked better than some of these
You're
shots. Now, granted, it
right.
was in the 80s, but we have some pretty good things shot in the 80s with
Yeah, we
some
do.
good, like there's some of the Friday 13ths are great. All the Nightmares are great. The
I was
first
gonna
one
say
has some
that
good shots. You
the
could have done,
Nightmare on Elm Street movies were freaking awesome when that
yeah,
with camera shots. So
yeah. Some of them are good. The scenes with the kids looking for his glove and he's crawling around, they're just not great. There's a couple nighttime shots like in the woods that are okay. Nothing to write home about though. I'm thinking like, I don't know, like maybe a 6.
yeah, that's fine.
Now that we've added this range, it gives me a lot more leeway to like be harsher than I really have been in the past. I like it. Because like I said, there's a couple okays, but the low shots are terrible. Like it physically made Erin feel like she was gonna vomit on one time because the camera is just like shaking. It's ridiculous. All right. Man, this one's gonna be bad too. The sound element. The sound
It
represents the
sucks.
overall tone of the film. The soundtrack, as well as the score, keeps the audience engaged with the setting, characters, location, and narrative of the piece.
It's not good.
No.
There's nothing there. Like I don't even remember if there was a score. I was like, it was just sound effects that were poorly done.
Yes.
I don't know.
Like when they kill
It's really
Allie,
low.
it sounds like a freaking fish tank. It's like blue, 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 blue. It's terrible. The only thing I like is Angela's ridiculous song, the Happy
Yeah, the
Camper song.
Kumbaya.
No, the
Oh,
Happy
the
Camper
Happy
song.
Campers. That was funny.
Yeah, because it's
And
actually
she's like,
written by the writer Michael Hitchcock, and it's, "Oh, I'm a happy camper. I love the summer sun. I love the trees and forest. I'm always having fun. Oh, I'm a happy camper. I love the clear blue sky, and with the grace of God, I'll camp until I die." A little foreshadowing because you all are gonna die.
yeah, and she's like really smiling hard
She
when
was
she sings
pumped
that. I'm
because
like,
she knew I'm gonna kill you all.
yeah.
But to the rubric, this is the lowest of the low. This is trash. Like you said, I don't think there is a score. I don't hear
There
there's some
isn't.
sound in there. I mean, there was, let's see, James
There was
Oliverio did that, and he's like that dude's done like the Olympics and stuff. So I'm like, what in the world were you doing? When
he or not he. So they chose one song to start the movie with and end the movie with, I'm pretty sure. And I can't even remember what the song was. But it was like opening credits and end credits. And then, but the movie, the only thing that stuck out to me was the little Happy Camper song and her singing Kumbaya.
Well,
That's
she
it.
did twice because she was
But that's all I remember, and that's
kind of
all that
sad.
I can think of. So
Let's see what IMDb says. We do have, it does have a soundtrack, and I don't
I don't
remember
really
half these
recall it
songs.
having. I don't either.
Let's see here. We got Straight Between the Eyes is a song from Metal Blade Records. So it does have that metal song at the beginning. I think that's the one they started and ended with. It's Anvil.
Okay.
Then there's an instant club hit by the Dead Milkmen, which I don't remember hearing that either. I know that song. It might have been when they were playing on the radio. And I think the Panty Raid has a song, and the
Oh
Job Shepherd
yeah.
has a song.
I'm sorry, I was real distracted on that scene because all I could think of was him yelling "Panty Raid," and I was like, so stupid.
Yeah, there are some music, but it's not used very well
No,
at all. Yeah, no,
the
and
score's super low for me.
people might be mad, but this is again like a 4.
Yeah,
Only for the
I
Happy
agree.
Camper song. So,
I liked
guys,
her singing "Kumbaya." I thought that was
yeah, it
funny.
was funny. Let me do some quick
But
math
yeah,
here.
it's not four is good. Because
This,
my notes were nothing to write home about. That was it. I was like, yeah, no.
yeah, this movie scored 27. Yeah, this
I'm
might be the
sorry, that's
lowest movie we've
funny.
ever done.
It's so bad. It's so bad it's good.
No,
So it's whatever.
it is definitely worth watching. You probably want to watch 2 and 3 back to back because they were filmed back to back.
I know. I need to watch the third one. Maybe I'll do that today. Which
Yeah,
sounds like I'm not gonna be able to do much anyways. It's
I know.
starting
I
outside.
know. I plan on cutting my grass today. Psych. But yeah, guys, it's a fun watch. It's not, but like, here's the thing: if you like horror movies, you watch a lot of them that you know are bad, but you watch them because they're bad, right? This is a
Yeah.
terrible movie, technically, but it's fun. The kills are funny. Angela's character, like Pamela Springsteen, does a really good job of just being quirky and creepy, and you believe that she is crazy because she's so excited to be here. She's like
Yes.
camper counselor of the week, and she's jazzed, and she's just the most pumped to be at camp. And how dare you not have high morals and you know, show your boobs to people, because nice girls don't have to show it off. It's great. Another thing too that reminded me of this one is that the lady on the box is not her, because they could not she was busy that day. It's ridiculous.
Oh my gosh. That is so ridiculous.
And her completely posed backpack with the claw hanging out and the chainsaw and the mask, because let's camp in on all the big ones. So yeah, guys, there's our take on Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers. So yeah, hope you hope you liked it.
I mean, it was a fun experience.
It was.
So.
I'd watch it again. I mean, it's probably the third time I've seen it. It's classic 80s just ridiculousness. But it's worth watching. So check it out, guys. 27, but don't let our score ruin it for you.
Okay.
Sorry, this
So
clip is playing right now of her shoving Allie in the toilet, and it just makes me laugh. Yeah. Oh my god, these blow shots of her boots walking in the woods are terrible. Let me get off this before I get sick.
I know, it shows it a lot. It does
He
show
does it
guys
3 or
a
4
lot.
times. So yeah. So if you disagree, no, so oh well, it's your opinion. This is my opinion. But yeah. You want to tell them where to find us, Jay?
Yes. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Horror in the Halls. We're almost to 1,000 people on Instagram, so there's that.
Yeah,
You can also follow Jenny_Dreadfuls on Instagram. You can email us at horrorinthehalls@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you.
Yeah, guys. And once we hit 1,000 followers on Instagram, if you're a listener, jump on there, because we're going to do another giveaway. I haven't decided what I'm going to give away yet, but it'll be something fun. So we're at 996.
Oh dang, we're getting closer.
I know, right? We're right there. So jump on, follow us, give us a like, response. If you disagree or love it or think it's funny, let us know, because I love that kind of stuff. I want to engage with our listeners. I think it'd be fun. And yeah, guys, so check it out. We'll be back next week with another fun camp related film. I'm excited about the next one. The next two, really, I'm kind of pumped about. We're going to go from like the lowest of the low to a really good one, I hope. So hopefully we get a good score next time.
Right.
Yeah. Check us out, guys. Follow us on Patreon. All of our socials, jump on there. Like I said, you could win the giveaway. It'll probably be, I really haven't decided, but I have some cool stuff I may throw together. Just a fun little thank you for 1,000 follows. So jump on, check us out. Let us know what you think. And yeah, guys, sounds like that's going to be the bell. We're going to get out of here. We'll see you next time.
Bye.